Are you curious about how long it's going to take the overall EB2 NIW process? In this video, we'll break it down to you step by step. And thank you to our sponsor for today's video, Journey, a company that specializes in professional and business plans for immigration processes like EB2 NIW. Hi, my name is Oscar, and as you know, I'm not a lawyer. And in this channel, together with Marina, we cover green cards like EB2 NIW and EB1A. We cover them from my own personal experience and the official USCIS information. And you have tons of resources in our website, oscarsgreencard.com, here in this YouTube channel, and also in our specialized courses that teach you step by step how to put together your petition so you're not lost.
And today we're going to focus on a fundamental topic, the duration of the process. We've talked about this before on this channel, but things are changing and we want to provide a more detailed and clearer explanation. We'll discuss the timelines for each step at any given moment, how to check those timelines at any time, whether you're looking at it now in early 2026 or later. And we'll also talk about current timelines. We're going to talk about the I-140 step, adjustment of status if you're in the United States, or the consular process. So let's go.
Yes, Marina, and let's take a look at the overall process so we can understand all the steps in EB2 NIW. By the end of this video, you will understand all of this and you will have a number of days or months for each of these steps. First of all, you'll need to know if you qualify or not. You need to educate yourself about the category and really reflect if your qualifications can meet the requirements. Second of all, you're going to need time to prepare your I-140 package. I-140 is the first step of the process in which you will argue how you qualify for this benefit. This is the most crucial part of the process, in my opinion. And once we have that package all put together, then we will submit it, we will send it. Nowadays, we are talking about a physical process, mailing the petition, that we are already transitioning to a digital submission. So once the I-140 is sent, it will be in USCIS's hands. USCIS is the agency that will adjudicate your case. It will review it, and the officer will determine if they need to approve it, to deny it, or to issue a request for evidence if they need more information. So there will be a time that you will be waiting for USCIS to complete that review, and we will later show you what are the current timelines for that. In parallel to that, once you submit your I-140, you establish what we call the priority date. That is your place in line, because the green card system in the US is a quota-based system. There are 140,000 green cards, employment green cards, every year, more or less, and each category has a quota, each country has a quota, and depending on that, because there is more demand than availability, there is usually a wait time, especially in the EB2 category. So you need to account for that visa bulletin wait time, and in a second, I will tell you how to estimate that. And once you're done with the I-140 step, if you are inside the US, you will undergo what is called an adjustment of status with Form I-485. And that process is also governed by USCIS, the same agency we were discussing for the I-140. You will basically request that they change your status from your current non-immigrant status to the green card. And that process will also take a while. Later, I'll show you the tool to estimate that wait time. Once the adjustment of status is completed, you will get the green card and everyone will be happy. And if you are outside the US, then you will undergo what is called consular processing. You will finish your second step of the process in a consulate abroad. It can be in your place of birth or it can be in your place of permanent residency abroad. And there is also a wait time tied to this step of the process that really varies depending on where you are in the world. So later we'll show you an official website to check out the wait times. Once everything is completed, you will get the green card, and that will be a fantastic moment for your family, because remember that this affects not only you, the principal applicants. If you get this green card, also your derivatives, your spouse and children can get a green card as well and become permanent residents in the United States. So let's talk about the steps in this process, and let's start with qualifying.
The first question you need to answer is whether you qualify for an EB2 NIW. This step can take anywhere from a few hours to a few days, depending on how long it takes you to study and understand this category. so you can then either do your own self-assessment or consult with one lawyer to get guidance on whether you qualify. If you're not very familiar with this category, I recommend you to watch our 8-minute video where we explain the basics of the EB2. We also have several other videos that cover different parts of the process if you're interested.
All right, Marina, so once you know that you qualify, then we start talking about preparation of the I-140 package. What I said earlier, that for me is the most important and crucial part of the process, because here, and assuming that you are a do-it-yourself petitioner, you will put together maybe 25 pages of arguments, but together with that, you will also submit a lot of pages of exhibits, of documents to back up all your claims, explaining how you qualify for each of the requirements. We're talking about advanced degree probably, or exceptional ability, and then each of the prongs of the matter of Danasar. Here are a few steps that we want you to have in mind. One, you need to brainstorm and draft a first proposed endeavor. The proposed endeavor is the key of your whole petition, and actually we have a video on proposed endeavor and professional plans that I would like you to watch, and I will leave a link right here. And once you have that professional mission in mind and you articulate a first draft, you will need to start reviewing your profile and recap what evidence you have and decide if you need to do some profile building. You still need to cover some gaps and maybe submit some papers for review, or do some judging in competitions, or even go back and gather documents that you thought they were lost and maybe you can still find them. All those things you need to do earlier on in the process so you don't delay the whole submission. Once you are doing those things, you need to start contacting potential recommenders. You're going to start thinking about your case, and you are going to see, okay, which experts should I contact to back up some of my claims, especially in the areas that you have weaker evidence, or, for example, things that are very related to your professional achievements, your projects that you worked on. You really want to have people that can explain in detail what you did and what was the outcome of that. What was the impact of your work? And then also independent recommenders that you need. You need independent experts that talk both to things that you already did, but especially to your impact in the future with your proposed endeavor, with your professional plan. And once you have that, then you will start drafting the petition cover letter, gather all the evidence. And why you want to start contacting people before you start even drafting? Because that takes time. It takes time for people to respond. It takes time to know who you can count on or not. So you start drafting the petition cover letter, you start gathering all the evidence, and you will start gathering recommendation letters as you start getting the okay from people. And another very important thing is you will also draft a very detailed plan, what we call a professional or business plan or research plan if you're a researcher, a document that is a separate document from your petition, that is an exhibit that really details what you will do in the US. And you can do that yourself, or you can hire a company, and we'll talk about that in a second. Then finally, you will review, revise, correct, and prepare to submit the whole package. It's very important to look at it once, twice, 3 times. Give it to your friends. Make sure that you have a very good and solid package that the USCIS officer will look at. And I estimate this step, all these sub-steps together, they will take you between 1 and 6 months of time. And I was talking about a detailed plan, very important nowadays to have. And for that, I want to talk about our sponsor today. And I'm happy to say that today's video is sponsored by Journey, a company that makes business and professional plans for EB2 NIW. One of the hardest parts in the process is turning your background into a credible plan that tells a clear story. What you'll do in the US, why it's important, and how you will execute it. We have been collaborating with Journey in our online courses for over 2 years now because we have seen their work and trust their professionality. You can see it by yourself. You can check the samples of their work on their website. Click on the link in the description below or use the QR code on screen. And if you navigate to EB2 NIW business plans, you will find out that they will offer a 10 to 12 business day turnaround time, and they will produce a 30 to 50 page document that you can attach to your I-140 petition package. Journey is trusted by countless immigration lawyers to support their writing process, and you can do the same as a do-it-yourself petitioner. We are thankful to Journey for their support as a quarterly sponsor of this channel. Check them out using the link below.
Thank you, Oscar. We were talking about preparing the I-140 package. The next step, once that the package is sent, is how long it will take USCIS to resolve our case, to tell us if they approve it, deny it, or grant us an RFE. Here we have two different paths. One, if we send the I-140 normally, that's going to take months to resolve. Currently, it's taking more than a year and a half, almost 2 years. We'll see in a moment how we can check the estimated time frame. The other way, the faster one, is with premium processing. With Form I-140, we submit Form I-907, and then USCIS commits to resolving our case within 45 business days. Of course, this will cost more, and if you want to see all the costs involved, we have this video that details them. But let's talk about the standard processing time. If we don't pay for premium processing, we can go to this official website, we'll type the link in the video description, and select Form I-140. Then the category Advanced Degree or Exceptional Ability requesting a national interest waiver. And finally select Scopes, which is currently the only way to see the processing time. It's essentially a central hub for all cases. We click on Get Processing Time and see that it currently tells us that 80% of cases are completed in 22 months. It's important to understand that this 22 months figure does not mean that your case will necessarily be processed that way. It states that 80% of cases in the last 6 months have been completed within that time frame. In addition, a note also indicates that they are currently prioritizing I-140 forms whose priority date is close to being updated in the visa bulletin. This means that if you submitted your case recently, it won't be prioritized unless you pay premium processing. They likely leave it pending because they'll know you have to wait until the visa bulletin allows you to proceed with the process anyway. And these are the historical processing times. Right now, we're seeing those 22 months indicated on the official website, but not so long ago, they were resolving cases in around 10 months. However, at the beginning of Biden's term, we were also seeing similar figures to what we see today. These are certainly very slow numbers, and hopefully they will be able to accelerate this process.
So Marina was talking about the wait time for the I-140. What about the visa bulletin? Once you submit that I-140, you establish your priority date, and you have to wait for that visa bulletin to move in order to complete the full process. And this really affects both adjustment of status and consular applicants. It doesn't matter if you are abroad or you're in the US, you have to wait for the visa bulletin. And there is no way you can accelerate this. There is no premium processing that can save you here. So once you submit your I-140, that's your priority date. And the visa bulletin will really dictate when there is a visa number available for you because of that quota system that I was talking about, that demand, that availability. And that depends on the country of birth. It's not about your citizenship, it's where you were born. So you will check the appropriate column in the visa bulletin, first column for most countries except India or China. And for EB2, you will look at the second row of the table in the visa bulletin. And by matching that row with that column, you will get a date, and you will have to wait until your priority date is earlier than the date shown in the visa bulletin. The visa bulletin is released every month. So that's why we make a video every month in this channel. We follow the progression of that visa bulletin so we can see if you can advance to the last step of the process or not. Really crucial to keep an eye on the visa bulletin while you are in the process. The estimated time frame as of now is currently about a little bit less than 2 years, but that is subject to changes. If the demand goes up, then the visa bulletin will start moving slower because there's more people for the same number of visa numbers available. And if the demand declines, then there will be more movement forward in the visa bulletin, more people will be able to advance faster. So now let's go with adjustment of status. So because adjustment of status is also governed by USCIS, we use the same website that Marina was showing earlier that you have in the description of the video. And here we have a similar screen where you're going to select I-485 adjustment of status, and then a category you will select employment-based adjustment applications, and for field office or service center you are going to select all field offices here. This is very important to get the right processing time. Once you hit get processing time, you will get the 11 months. 80% of the cases are completed within 11 months, so a little bit better, still not so short as we would like it to see. Also, during adjustment of status, you may request temporary benefits like a temporary EAD card for working or a temporary travel document to go out of the country and return to the US without having issues. And those are forms I-765 and I-131 respectively. And you can use that tool also to select that appropriate form and see the estimated wait times for those. And finally, if you are abroad, what matters to you is consular processing, getting your visa at a consulate abroad. And that process is administered by the State Department, not USCIS. You will first receive a welcome letter when your priority date is close to being current in the visa bulletin. That's why the visa bulletin is really important and you must understand it. And once you get that welcome letter, you need to fill out Form DS-260 online, you need to pay the appropriate fees, and you need to mail the civil documents. And that is 1 to 6 months that we estimate once you get that welcome letter. And then your status will become what we call documentarily complete, or DC, or it used to be called DQ, documentary qualified. And once you are current on table A in the visa bulletin, you may be called for an interview at that embassy. But each consulate has their own wait times, and there are some that have no wait time at all, and some that have even years of delay. So you need to check out this website here, where you can consult for different categories, including employment. You can consult what are the estimated wait times, and this is an estimate only, so you can go there and check it out. And we have a video where we explain about this website, and we do almost monthly videos on how the different US consulates are moving in the different categories as well. So in conclusion, and in a second we're going to see the diagram again with all the time frames, but only 3 years ago the EB2 NIW route was quite fast, and today in 2026 you should assume that it will take you about 3 years to complete the whole process. And the sooner you start, the sooner you finish. And you will say, yeah, obvious. Well, but I say this because if you start earlier, you will establish an earlier priority date. And we saw how crucial that is when it comes to the visa bulletin. The moment you send your I-140, you get your priority date. That's like your ticket in line, and that will influence the rest of the process for you. And of course, you can see at other options for other visas or other green cards. One of them is the EB1A route for extraordinary ability. You can always pursue that green card in addition to EB2 NIW, or alternatively, depending on your profile. But be aware that that category is quite strict. It's the highest category, and you need to really be at the top of your field to qualify. Going back to our diagram where we started, Marina was telling us how you need to qualify. So you need to figure that out probably in a few days, few weeks, depending on the time you have, understanding the category, understanding your profile, and then you will get into preparation for your I-140. If you do it yourself without lawyers, it will probably take you 1 to 6 months, depending on the time you have in your hands, your professional duties, your family responsibilities, a lot of things that each person has to take into account. Then you send your I-140, and it will take a few months. Right now, it's taking a little bit over 1.5 years for USCIS to adjudicate your I-140 unless you paid premium processing. But in that time, you are waiting for the visa bulletin already. And that's currently about 2 years of wait time, but may change depending on the historical moment. And once you get out of this first step, your I-140 is approved, then you need to wait a few more months for the I-485, and we already told you how you can consult the times for that. And if you are abroad, you will need to check that official website to see what is the situation in the consulate that you are going to go to, what is the wait times for the consulate related to your country of birth or your country of residence. And once all of this is done, you will finally get your green card, and that's going to be a sweet moment for you and your relatives. And you're going to be in the US, you're going to be able to work freely, you're going to be able to travel freely, a lot of good things that will happen to you, hopefully. And I hope this video was useful. If you are interested in proceeding with this process as a do-it-yourself petitioner, go to USCISgreencard.com, because we have the right course for you, a step-by-step course that will teach you how to do each thing, how to proceed, how to write each chapter of the petition, what evidence is appropriate for that part of the process, and how to assemble everything together. Really interesting stuff. You can submit questions in each lesson, and once a month we meet in a live call where you can bring your doubts and we'll resolve them.
Thanks again to Journey for sponsoring this episode of Oscar's Green Card. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with others who might be interested. And leave a comment letting us know what you think about the current state of the process. Do you think we've covered almost everything, or have we missed something? Did you expect the process to be this long? Let us know, and we'll see you in the next Oscar's Green Card video. Thank you.